Hey, ladies and gents, Joe here, the man who doesn't skip the Melfi scenes in The Sopranos, and I'm here to talk about UFC 299. It was a stacked card. Some people thought it was better than UFC 300 on paper, and I'm not going to go into that now, at least. But this card was really good, actually. I was really happy with it. So, enough talk. Let's get to the fights. Main events, Sean O'Malley taking the number 5 ranked Chito Vera, who was, I want to stress, who was one win removed from his shutout loss to Corey Sandhagen. And I want to address the elephant in the room. I love Chito Vera. He's awesome. But he only got this title fight because he has a previous win over O'Malley. Guys like Merab and Corey Sandhagen were 1,000% more deserving for this title shot. It's not cool, honestly. That said, O'Malley, outside of like a minute or two, where Chito was getting some momentum, O'Malley was pitching a shutout. O'Malley's footwork was just so much better, and Chito, who was just kind of plodding in with little activity for a majority of the fight, was just getting pieced up. And it was only when Chito was pushing the pace with low kicks and then combinations that he had success. But by then, it was just far too late. At the last second of the final round, literally, like, I think it was over like a second later, like 4:58 maybe. Chito did land a huge liver shot that knocked O'Malley down after the bell. It was after the bell that he went down, and he actually struggled to get up. And you kind of wonder what would have happened if that shot would have landed like a minute earlier, which would have been crazy. That if he would have got him after that, I think that would have been a better finish than Leon Edwards, admittingly, because it was much more of a shutout, where like Leon at least won the first round against Usman in the second fight. So 2 things I take away from this fight, though. One, I don't think the first fight's a fluke. I look at it like this: Chito attacked the leg, and the leg had the injury. He caused the injury with his strike. If a fighter lands like a big right hand, breaks the orbital, it swells up like Donald Cerrone's eye did in the Tony fight, and they stop it, and you everyone kind of gives credit to the fighter who landed the right hand. That's kind of how I look at this. Secondly, did anyone else notice how the broadcast team, the commentary, just kept saying over and over and over? It was like a Vince McMahon buzzword, or a redacted person buzzword, I should say, where like O'Malley the superstar. They on and on and on about it. Then he even came out to the classic Lupe Fiasco song. The song's awesome, and I hated that he walked out to it because I'm not an O'Malley guy. Superstar. And like, okay, they kept that up, sure. But let's look at how the fans reacted to him. All of his moments were met with very middling sounds and boos. In the fight, there was even an F. O'Malley chant. I thought they were saying Sean O'Malley. I was like, that's weird, because they've been very, very much pro-Chito. Like, not even pro-Chito, more like anti-O'Malley the entire night. But no, then I realized they're saying F. O'Malley. I was like, oh, awesome. I think at this point, I think the UFC probably should... Another thing, too, people were openly talking about how, like, I don't want to pay money because I don't want the UFC thinking this guy's a superstar, so I'm going to stream the fight. I paid for the card. My official saying. No, I actually did. I actually did pay for this card because I want to support Dustin. I don't want them thinking like Dustin sucks or something like that. Also, I want to support cards that actually have a good main card. So, but enough about me. I know that's what you guys care about is me, but for the fight, like, I know a lot of people were saying, like, I'm not going to support this dork, so I'm going to stream this fight. A lot of people on social media always saying that all week. And who knows if they actually did or not. It could just be all talk. But at the end of the day, I think at this point you kind of have to go, this guy isn't a superstar. He's way too cringy of a human being. Like, he makes Israel Adesanya look like a cool guy, and I think that's pretty weird. And he looks too much like a dork. Like, he looks like a dork. Very Zoomer-esque. Nothing wrong with being young and being in like a different cultural age group, essentially, because that's what that is, just a cultural thing. But my word, it is just overload. He looks like a walking Fortnite ad. Like, I feel like he reminds me of that kid that I'm I've dated a lot of moms, so he reminds me of that kid. Like it's like of the girl you're dating that's like, I love Fortnite and just flosses all day, and you just have to go, yeah, nice, huh? But inside you're just like rubbing your temples, like, oh my god, I think I made a mistake. That hasn't happened to me, but a friend of an ex of mine had a son like that, and I was like, help me. But yeah, no one really connects with this guy. I feel like he's just too cringe. Like, as bad as it sounds, Chito is like a blue collar, and I'm gonna say that I think he's lazy. He's a very lazy bomber. He only wants to fight for like a minute of the round. He connects with fans more. He was connecting with fans last night. I think this is not me making, like, this is me just making an observation. I'm not putting my opinion out there on it. I will say, stress, potential bias on my end, because I don't like O'Malley, as I've said before. But I think it's just kind of funny. I'm really curious what you guys think. Is he a superstar, or is he Roman Reignsing it? Like, not like, I mean, Roman Reigns now I think sucks, but like talking like 2016, where it's like, this is the guy you like, this guy like him. Like, I feel like that's what the UFC is doing, and it's really bad. It's super funny to me, but it's pretty bad. But time for the co-main event, and the reason a lot of you, like me, probably bought this card. Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. And this fight was unbelievably insane. So early on, Benoit Saint-Denis is pushing the pace, just pressing him. It's stiff boxing, like his boxing is stiff, but tons of power on it. And he's able to press Poirier early, land some shots against the cage, and then dive on the legs. Poirier would jump on these guillotines over and over and over again in these situations, and it would leave him on the mat because he couldn't get it. It was a very aggressive and scary submission threat on top of him, who was putting Poirier in some scary spots in the first round. But one thing I noticed in that first round is I was like, man, Benoit Saint-Denis hits super hard, but he looks so stiff on the feet compared to Poirier, who is, like A Tribe Called Quest said, smooth like butter. And so, something I noticed. Second round, me and the best friend felt like we called it. We're geniuses. Huge KO for Poirier. Poirier lands a great uppercut on a level change. Starts swarming on him. Huge right hand bomb connects, and I had my left hand up, so I had to switch. Huge right hand bomb connects and just puts Benoit Saint-Denis down for the count. And the right-handed southpaw is a scary threat to me. The lead-handed, like, dominant hand guy, like Anderson, Machida were right-handed southpaws as well. Those guys are so scary to me because I feel like counter-punching a lot. Like, I mean, for me, I fought orthodox. I would try to switch stances here and there, but I'm right-handed. I always saw myself countering. I felt safer countering with my lead hand. I would counter with my right hand a lot too, but that's just because I'm right-handed. But whenever I tried fighting southpaw, I was always countering with my lead hand, and I felt much smoother to the point where I went. If I probably would have kept like boxing and like doing martial arts and stuff, I probably would have tried to implement that, like being a right-handed southpaw as well, because it just felt way more comfortable. But this guy, who isn't just a guy training in a backyard with his coaches and stuff, is like a legitimate like high-level guy, and he's able to do that. So that terrifies me, that he's so comfortable with this now and at a high level, and he's able to do this. So I think that is so awesome. I love these dominant-handed lead hand guys, right? Also, fun fact, same punch he KO'd Conor McGregor with, but it was also at the exact same time, apparently, which I haven't seen for myself. I just saw that this morning. I was like, whoa, that's a crazy statistic. Kind of awesome. And this fight, I can't stress enough, was insane. Very insane fight. Very reminiscent of the Hooker fight, with how much Benoit was just kind of going at Poirier against the cage. Well-deserved fight of the night on a card that had a lot of really good fights. But here's the rest of the card, because we're at like 9 minutes. MVP, he shocked me with how he outclassed Kevin Holland on the feet, who was just super frustrated the entire time with the quickness and movement of MVP. JDM showed the world that, you know what, maybe he is a unicorn. Still with these just great scrambles And he was losing on the cards, like he was getting beaten. But a great come from behind TKO win over Gilbert Burns by landing the open side knee, something I said would happen one day on a main card, and it happened. Finally, I'm justified here. Petr Yan and Song Yadong had a fantastic fight as well. And it went pretty much exactly how me and Carl said, where first round, Song Yadong just has all the success early. He's a good, quick starter. Petr Yan isn't. But Petr Yan slowly started taking over after his typical slow start and just got the fight with a good mixing of wrestling and his boxing as well. Curtis Blades, he fell victim to the teep kick double leg combo from Yelton Almeida, but in the second round, hammer fisting down as he's trying to defend the takedown. He stops the takedown and the hype train of Yelton Almeida. Macy Barber, my girl, she was looking good and got a good win. A comfortable win, I thought, over Caitlin Seminara. Mateusz Gamrot, he got a big grindy win, and I think in a pretty fun fight, actually, against RDA. That fight was pretty good. But Kyler Phillips outclassed Pedro Munoz on the feet for 3 rounds, and he's getting a number on his name on Monday. Felipe Lins, got a unanimous decision win over Ian Cutelaba. Michelle Pajeda smoked Michael Alexechuk. I always butcher that. I think that's the closest I've ever gotten. In a 1-minute rear naked choke win. Robeles de España got an 18-second TKO over Josh Parisian. Asu Almabayev got a unanimous decision win over CJ Vergara, who missed weight, so kind of rough night for him. Finally, though, good feel-good story here. Joanne Wood got a win on the opening card, avenging her first loss in the UFC, I think in her whole career, if I remember correctly, against Mariah Moroz, and she's retiring. It's going down, so congratulations on your retirement to one of the first female fighters that really made me go, oh, I think I'm a super fan of this chick, Dr. Neal, which I think is a sick name. But the other big fight of the weekend, I was supposed to do a reaction thing, but man, my sleep schedule has been destroyed. I blame getting cleaned up in the haircut. When you work overnights and you have to stay up to, look this good, it takes effort, it takes time. So the other big one was Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, and I want to touch on this here. One thing of note, these promos for this fight was super cool. It was a super cool promos. I want trailers like that for every UFC card ever. And I know some people will be like, oh, those are corny. No, they're awesome. Trust me, they're so cool. They show effort, which makes me go, oh, if you're willing to put effort into promoting, then I'm willing to put effort into, I feel justified in my effort, putting in. It's a relationship we have. It's a give and take, But the fight, though, wow, Anthony Joshua destroyed Francis Ngannou, and I felt awful. Straight rights over and over and over again, multiple knockdowns before KOing him cold in the second round. And it makes Tyson Fury look awful, honestly. But I was rooting for Ngannou, obviously, as an MMA guy. I love boxing, too. Been watching a lot of boxing these last couple weeks, unrelated. I love boxing, but I'm an MMA guy first and foremost. And I feel bad for Ngannou here, but never forget that this is not him fumbling the bag. He made a ton of money and is the most talked about mainstream boxer in years. Great job to him still, honestly. And, for a guy that wasn't known as the most technical striker in MMA to have some success and get the big money in boxing, you gotta love it. But that's it for me. I'll be back next week for Tai Tuivasa versus Marcin Tybura. Also, be on the lookout for a retro review that I'm about to go shoot because I've been really behind on it this month. Work, tiring, life, it's rough for old Joe. The champ is, he's been worn out this month. But nothing too big, honestly. It's fine. It's not just work. That's how it is. I'm about to go shoot it now. I'm a little behind on this one. But I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching.